but it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men, and they are doing all they can.
I'm Vince for RTM News, and Morning Joe over at MSNBC recently had a bit of a meltdown over the fact that it was recently revealed white men are overwhelmingly not supporting Kamala Harris, and I really wonder why that could be. So folks, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe if you are new, and listen to Morning Joe's meltdown over white men not supporting Kamala Harris. Again, really wonder why.
So they still believe they can and will win Pennsylvania, but you know, they feel good about Michigan. They feel good about Wisconsin, relatively good. You know, it may be a landslide. Maybe they'll win by a full percentage point in both of those states. But in Pennsylvania, they know it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a fight because she's doing better, much better among women and most young voters, but older white men, just like people thought after Biden left the race, more of a challenge, pulling them to vote against Trump again.
Yeah, I mean, older white men and actually younger white men too, also a bit of a challenge. I mean, that number they'll like a lot, up +5 in Pennsylvania, because you're right, it's the new Ohio, it's the new Florida, it's the state where they see they have the most problems. And of course, then either the concern or the upside, depending on how you look at this from the Harris campaign's point of view, is that Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin people think will break the same way. That's what they've done traditionally ever since 1980. I think there's one exception. And so if they lose Pennsylvania, what would that then mean for Wisconsin and Michigan? If they win Wisconsin and Michigan, does that mean they're going to win Pennsylvania? But that's why they're putting so much resources into that. But it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men, and they are doing all they can. You can see, I think the debate next week will be really interesting to see how Tim Walz reaches out to that group. Doug Emhoff, who I interviewed yesterday, I think we've got a clip of that we can have later on the program. He is making a concerted effort in his own way to reach out to that group. They know that's where they know that's where they have a weakness.
And I really wonder why that is. I mean, this must just be a big mystery to them. How come white men are not supporting us? How come we don't really appeal to them? After all, how could you forget they have the legendary coalition known as White Dudes for Harris, and that should be fixing the problem, shouldn't it?
And that happens at the same time as the myths around America that we grew up with, that we as men are expected to be protectors and providers, are going out into an economy that doesn't really allow for that, especially for working class folks. And sort of like compounding on that, masculinity as a trope has been co-opted by the MAGA right into something that feeds into and exacerbates the loneliness epidemic, as well as the mental health crisis that many face that end up leading to really destructive behaviors. We aren't the only ones that are hurt by these things. Black and brown people, LGBTQIA plus people, especially trans women and indigenous people, and all sorts of other folks in our society who've been historically and often still today are marginalized and being hurt, demonized, and marginalized even further. So
obviously what they are seeing is this White Dudes for Harris campaign call, where that's, I believe, Reid Hoffman was talking about the patriarchy and the same type of nonsense that SJWs have talked about for the past 10 years was not exactly working, and neither was Pete Buttigieg. Wow, what a white dude for Harris here, talking about how abortion is the most important issue in the 2024 election.
But for all of that, what's really filling my sails right now, and what I think Kamala Harris is expressing so well right now, is the positive side of all this, a reminder of what we are for. Namely freedom. I'm so glad she has made freedom the theme of her campaign, because I think in so many ways that's what's at stake. And yes, women's freedom is Exhibit A after Donald Trump demolished the right to choose. But of course, men are also more free in a country where we have a president who stands up for things like access to abortion care. Men are more free when the leader of the free world and the leader of this country supports access to birth control.
You really have to wonder, right? It must be just a gigantic mystery as to why white men, especially in the Rust Belt, right? We're talking about blue collar, oftentimes they work in the trades, non-college educated white men that work with their hands for a living. don't relate to Mr. Reid Hoffman and his man bun talking about the patriarchy, or Pete Buttigieg talking about how abortion is the most important issue in the 2024 election. And this is compounded on the fact that for the past decade, the woke left has been demonizing white men as the biggest problem in America. And you really have to wonder why then they support Donald Trump by such overwhelming margins. Gee, when you attack people for years and then suddenly ask for their vote, it's a big mystery why they don't exactly believe you. You know what I'm saying? Now, clearly and quite ironically, after demonizing white people for so long, the Kamala Harris campaign clearly understands that they do actually need the support of white men, because they recently released this ad that is from White Dudes for Harris, and this is supposed to be the big appeal as to why you as a white guy should actually be voting for Kamala Harris. Check out this campaign ad.
White dudes. So, I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse, shouting nonsense in their stupid red hats and acting like they speak for us when they don't. All they've ever done is screw us over. But
okay, again, who has been saying that white dudes suck for the longest time? It's not Trump. It's not the Republicans. It's not the right wing. It is the very base of people that is now running the campaign of Kamala Harris. Just gonna point that out, okay? Again, you wonder why an ad like this is not really breaking through to people? Giant mystery. I really wonder why.
if you're not on the MAGA train, where do you go? Isn't it just swapping out one crappy option for another? Then it hit me. This isn't about picking teams. It's about who's got a plan that's gonna make life better for me and my family. So I've been doing my own research and decided to check out Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And before you jump down my throat, they're actually talking to guys like us. No lectures, no BS.
Okay.
Just real solutions that protect our freedoms and help us take care of the people who matter. And honestly, I think Harris and Walz are the ones to make that happen. End of the day, you're your own man. It's your call. But if anyone gives you crap about it, tell them it's none of their damn business.
So powerful, okay? Now, if you thought that was cringe and terrible, you're really gonna like this new rendition of White Dudes for Harris. So, Doug Harris, which is obviously Kamala Harris's husband, and Beto recently tried to go to a Whataburger to prove that they were normal white Texan guys, just like the rest of the people in this Senate race in Texas. And just take a look for yourself.
What I really do is watch this. I do a mix of 2/3 Diet Coke and 1/3 regular Coke. And it's just delicious. I've been looking forward to this all day. You know Beto?
Hi, Beto O'Rourke. Nice to meet you.
Yes. Good to meet you. How's it going?
They've got the Dr. Pepper shake. So Dr. Pepper's very Texas.
I'll do the number 2 combo. Okay. I definitely want some of that spicy ketchup. No pickles. But everything else.
Want to try our onion rings, or are you okay with the fries?
Like both?
I hope you're hungry.
We are hungry. Thank you. You can feel the energy. You can feel the enthusiasm. I'm feeling it here in Texas. We're all hustling. I want to thank our friend Beto. Talking about also voter registration, no matter what obstacles are being thrown in front of you, like they're trying to do, don't let them do it. Get out and register. Exercise your right to vote. This is the essence of our country. It's the essence of our democracy.
I told the second gentleman, we've been on college campuses, and they're calling it the Kamala effect. Young people are getting registered to vote in record numbers.
Let's move our country forward. Let's elect my wife president. Oh my goodness.
So it really shouldn't surprise anyone that that is the type of man who is allegedly married to Kamala Harris, because he's a lot like her, honestly. Hello, my fellow human beings. Can I get the Hello, my fellow human beings. Can I get the ketchup on the burger, please? Can I get the Dr. Pepper? Unbelievable. Again, I will reiterate, it's a great mystery as to why Kamala Harris is not appealing to white men, both young and old, across this country. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. And until next time, I've been Vince with RTM News. Peace.